We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with a bit of news regarding former NXT champion Keith Lee. Now, as many of you are likely aware, Keith Lee's run on the WWE main roster has had its fair share of ups and downs, with a lot of fans feeling as though WWE management have not treated Keith Lee the way he should be and not given him the opportunities that Keith deserves, with a general consensus among fans being that Keith Lee could be a top superstar in WWE and even a possible world champion if he was really given the chances to go out there and prove why he deserves the spotlight, something he just hasn't received up to this point in WWE. However, things could be looking up for Keith Lee in the near future if a new backstage rumor proves to be true, because if he hadn't known, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer has noted that WWE are planning a change of style and character for Keith Lee, with WrestlingNews.co further mentioning that Vince McMahon is now considering for Keith Lee to be turning into a monster heel in the near future. While Keith Lee has always got great crowd reactions as a babyface in WWE, a monster heel turn could be what Keith Lee needs to set himself apart from the rest of the roster and finally gain some legitimate traction on the main roster. And if a heel turn means Vince McMahon is willing to give Keith Lee more opportunities, then that is definitely what should happen where Keith Lee is concerned, because he needs to be showcased more for sure. While a lot of fans have been giving Alexa Bliss quite a hard time following the Fiend Bray Wyatt's release and firing from WWE, with many not being too pleased with Vince McMahon and WWE basically just giving Bray Wyatt's Fiend gimmick to Alexa Bliss and then simply getting rid of Bray Wyatt, with Alexa replacing Wyatt as a supernatural character in WWE. But there is no doubt that fans do need to appreciate talented superstars like Alexa Bliss while we have them on the active roster in WWE, because wrestling careers are not very long in the grand scheme of things, especially for women's division superstars. While Alexa Bliss is not going anywhere anytime soon, with Alexa clearly setting her sights on Charlotte Flair and the Raw Women's Championship this past week on Monday Night Raw. In a recent interview, Alexa Bliss opened up about a potential transition from WWE to acting and Hollywood, something that a lot of fans have felt is in her future, because Alexa Bliss has done a pretty good job with her supernatural character in WWE, and this style of acting could transition well into Hollywood. Here's a quote from Alexa's interview regarding a possible move to acting. "WWE will always be my home, that's always where I'll be, but I would love to see what happens if I go for acting. Like, I've been working with an acting coach for the last 10 months. Everything I'm doing right now, character-based wise, is a lot of acting and it is a lot of fun. But I would love to try that one day if the cards allow. That would definitely be a passion of mine, but for now WWE's home." Now, Alexa Bliss has made it clear that she isn't going to be leaving WWE and pursuing a career in Hollywood right away in the immediate future, but the interest is definitely there for Bliss to try acting sometime down the line. And let us know your thoughts on whether or not you think Alexa Bliss could do well transitioning from wrestling to acting. And do you feel that Alexa has shown great acting abilities with her twisted fiend-like character in WWE over the past several months? Or do you feel that Alexa's character is a bit overrated? Yesterday marked a very special one-year anniversary since Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns aligned with each other, and Paul Heyman sent the head of the table, Roman Reigns, a sad yet heartfelt message on this special day. Here's Paul's message to Roman Reigns on Twitter. "Exactly 1 year ago today, I was rescued by Roman Reigns. In the 52 weeks that have transpired since then, the Tribal Chief has redefined the medium, disrupted the status quo, and titled the axis of what it really means to be the top superstar in WWE, and we've only just begun." Now, as many of you are likely aware, the alliance between Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman is already on thin ice with the return of the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2021, and it is only a matter of time before either Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns, or the opposite happens where Reigns turns on Heyman. But without question, this whole storyline involving Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, and the returning Brock Lesnar is going to be awesome, and there's already so much emotion and intrigue to this storyline angle. For the time being, it's clear that Paul Heyman is trying to stay on Roman Reigns' good side, but the real question now is how long will it last, and the answer to that is definitely not long whatsoever. With that being said, storyline or not, Paul Heyman has stated that being paired up with Roman Reigns has saved his career in WWE while Brock Lesnar was away, and the two have worked extremely well together over the past year, and it's hard to argue that Roman Reigns has benefited from being paired up with Paul Heyman, but it is certainly getting close to when WWE will be cutting the ties between Roman Reigns and Paul, and in all honesty, that is likely for the best now that Brock Lesnar is back. Now, there has been some interesting news shared earlier today regarding former Divas champion Paige, and more so regarding Paige's contract status in WWE, and by all means this news has caught the attention of wrestling fans. In one of Paige's recent streams on Twitch, Paige revealed that her current WWE contract is set to expire in June of next year, so June 2022. And Paige further stated that she is unsure of whether or not WWE are going to be wanting to offer her a new contract when her current deal expires next year. As most of you are likely aware, Paige has been forced to basically retire from wrestling following a truly unfortunate neck injury sustained in late 2017, but Paige also recently put out a tweet with the message "I'm not done yet," which indicates that Paige is not going to be staying retired and wants to make a potential comeback to the ring very soon. Paige also revealed in a Twitch stream that she's working hard to make a comeback in wrestling, although Paige wants her return to be a surprise and is not going to be telling anyone when it actually happens, though Paige made it clear that if she did return to wrestling tomorrow, she would be ready, even though that definitely is not happening. With all this being said, it has been a truly tough road for Paige over the past couple of years, because wrestling is truly her passion, and it is unfortunate that she could not perform recently. But Paige recently commenting that she has an interest and is actively working towards coming back is great news, and without question, Paige's return would be welcomed by a lot of fans, which is already the general consensus on social media right now. However, whether that return to wrestling occurs in WWE or AEW All Elite Wrestling is really the question fans are asking right now regarding Paige. Bray Wyatt's next move following his release from WWE is still very much one of the biggest topics among wrestling fans right now, and while there was some speculation recently that Impact Wrestling also has an interest in signing Bray Wyatt, as of right now the strong rumors and news indicate that Bray Wyatt, aka Wyndham Rotunda, is going to be signing and joining AEW All Elite Wrestling in the near future once his non-compete clause with WWE runs up. And for those of you unaware, Bray Wyatt's impending AEW debut was subtly teased by the cult of personality CM Punk, who recently just joined AEW himself. CM Punk has appeared twice in AEW so far, once on Rampage and once on Dynamite, and on each appearance, CM Punk's shoes have had the initials of AC, which a lot of fans point out to being a reference to Adam Cole, and BW, which not surprisingly translates to Bray Wyatt. While it is no surprise that Bray Wyatt is currently negotiating with AEW All Elite Wrestling, CM Punk clearly teasing the signing is definitely making it seem more likely that Bray Wyatt is a done deal in AEW, or at least very close to being so. Not to mention that CM Punk was also showcased wearing a Misfits Fiend Club t-shirt, which also does kind of tease Bray Wyatt in AEW.